Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Transformers Friday from the Toybox edition. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Transformers Generation 1 Huffer. Let's get into it! Let's take a look at the figure in his alt mode. And, you know, it is what it is. It's a really small, kind of super deformed truck that I've recently learned they used to use these smaller trucks like this to pull airplanes in and out of the hangar, I think is what I heard. But basically, he just looks like a little miniature big rig. And I have to say, you know, it looks okay for that. And then it's got some silver here for the wheels and solid plastic tires. No rubber on this one. There, he's got a really poor looking original foil Autobot logo sticker there. And, you know, he rolls decently in there. I go bumping the camera. And then, of course, his, you know, exhaust pipes right here do have this nice vac metallized chrome on them. The windows here, it's a separate piece inserted into the cab, so it's molded in this black plastic. And probably these pieces are part of that as well. And then he's got a little bit of a silver paint app here for the grille. I thought there were some for the lights too, but it's not. And then a little bit of visible robot stuff on the bottom, but it's not too bad. And I will have to show you. You can see it's cracked right here. It's been glued back together. And when I glued it back together, I glued it and it will not rotate, but there is a way around that, and I'll get to that when we get to transforming him. But there it is, my friends. There is a look at the figure in his alt mode. It's time for alt mode comparisons. And here we have the Transformers Generation 1 Huffer with the Transformers Generation 1 reissue Bumblebee with media accurate head sculpt, and the Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy Kingdom Deluxe Class Huffer. For our final set of alt mode comparisons, here we have the Transformers Generation 1 Huffer with the Transformers Titans Returns Legends Class Bumblebee and the Amazon exclusive Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy Earthrise Leader Class Alternate Universe Optimus Prime. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the comedy portion of our program where I attempt to transform this Transformer. And I will need an extra tool for this, a handy dandy little screwdriver. I'll set it off to the side right here till I need it. And first thing I like to do is pull the legs out. And they can get a little tight sometimes. They're just held in place by friction. So you can see how over the years it's become skint. where the legs have been moved in and out. Now the next thing you want to do is carefully, and definitely not by the pipe, is pull the arm out. This side's a little bit easier, and again they're held in place by friction, and you can see where moving it in and out over the years has worn it just a bit. And then we'll move the cab up, like tilt it forward like this, and there's a double hinge here on this. And then once you have that in place, oh look, that's his head. No, it's not. You just flip that back around, and then there is his face. And of course this is not the glued arm, so it can move forward. This one is glued and it will not twist. So what you have to do is take your handy dandy screwdriver, a Phillips head, and this screw right here in his back, just loosen it slightly, and then you can put the arm into position, and then with the handy dandy screwdriver just tighten that back up, and there you go. It won't move out of that position, but nevertheless he can still be transformed even with his disability of being glued. Now that, my friends, is the figure all transformed. Let's take a look at the figure in his robot mode. And you know, the stickers are the original stickers, so they look pretty rough, and you can see where some of the vac metallization on the arms is starting to chip away just slightly, like right there. So it's not real bad, but it's enough that you can see scratches and stuff on it. He's got a nice little paint app there for his visor, or his eyes, whatever you want to call them. And again, I really like the back metallization on this figure, and I think he looks really well. As far as his articulation goes, of course, on the side that's glued, the arm doesn't move unless you unscrew his back again, but he can lift his arm up that high in robot mode. Or is it all the way up? Oh, he can do a full 360 degrees with his arm if you make sure it's pulled all the way out, like I didn't. And unfortunately, that is the extent of his articulation. So there we have it, my friends. There's a look at the figure in his robot mode. It's time for my favorite part of a Transformers review, robot mode comparisons. And here we have the Transformers Generation 1 Huffer with the Transformers Generation 1 reissue Bumblebee with media accurate head, and the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom Deluxe Class Huffer. For our final set of robot mode comparisons, here we have the Transformers Generation 1 Huffer with the Transformers Titans Returns Legends Class Bumblebee, and the Walmart exclusive Netflix Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise Leader Class Optimus Prime. For final thoughts on the Transformers Generation 1 Huffer, I have to say, I really used to like this guy and played with this figure a lot growing up. And so much so that at one point one of the pipes did break off. We had to glue it. And of course I showed that earlier. So, but it works out. And I like the vac metal on this guy. I like it doesn't have many paint amps, basically, you know, the grill and the headlights and his visor or his eyes, and that's pretty much it as far as paint apps go. So not a lot going on there. But one of the biggest things that always kind of made me angry, well, I didn't say it made me angry, but you know, it was disappointing that, you know, he couldn't carry Optimus Prime's trailer. And so, you know, I was always a little miffed by that. He did it in the cartoon, couldn't do it in the toy, but you know, it is what it is. He also didn't really look a whole lot like the toy, you know, the cartoon, the toy didn't really look a whole lot alike. You know, there were some basic design elements in there that were the same, but you know, that's the way it was with Transformers media versus the toys. You know, it never quite matched up really. But I like Huffer, and I still like him to this day. And I wasn't originally, because you know, his quote unquote injury, I wasn't gonna do a review on this one, but I decided to go ahead and do it because, you know, I don't have very many mini bots left that I own to review. In fact, I think he and Wind Charger are the last of the two, and Wind Charger, of course, also I was leery to do because of the damage to him, but I decided let's just go ahead and do it. Get it done. But again, you know, I don't know what it is about Huffer that I always liked Huffer, and I am glad that I do have this. Maybe one day, probably not though, I will, you know, try to complete a set of G1 Transformers, but that is very, very doubtful. I guess I don't have, first of all, I don't really have the funds to go after all the G1 figures, especially the more rare ones, and to find them in good condition, and all the accessories and all that. And honestly, I don't really have the patience for it a lot of time either. And that goes with most vintage lines. You know, I loved them growing up. Would I go in and try to complete a set now? No, I wouldn't. And again, it's not because I don't still, you know, have nostalgic feelings for these figures. It's just what comes out now is a lot better articulation wise and deco wise and sculpt wise, and the price for these vintage figures is just beyond my capacity at this time. So, but Huffer, good little mini bot, and if you don't have one, at least get the Kingdom one. That's a pretty good one too. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link. See if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content, or, you know, just help the channel out. That's even better. Actually, both is even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.